Hey guys, it's Destiny, and our newest ghost hunter, who is actually afraid of ghosts, is finally here. Welcome our adorable Wind Abundance character, Huohuo. Today I'm going to give you all the rundown on Huohuo, what she does for teams, how good she is, and also the buff they might have just given a certain Ice Queen. If you guys enjoy videos like these, of course, don't forget to subscribe, and also leave a like on the video if you guys like Huohuo and want to support the video. Now let's get straight into the review.
The new one.
Huohuo has quite a few unique things that make her stand out in comparison to our usual healers. The primary thing that makes her stand out is her ability to increase the energy of allies with her ultimate and an added on bonus, which is a hefty attack increase too. Huohuo definitely has a mixture of abundance and harmony traits to her kit, and I'll go over why this is super good for certain team comps later on in the video. To begin though, she is an HP scaling healer, and honestly, she has incredible healing and is able to keep the team very healthy with her sacrificial life. Sacrifice life is very good since every time it's someone's turn, they get healed and also have a debuff dispelled, which is awesome when you're fighting enemies that constantly inflict wind shear or imprisonment, and debuffs are definitely becoming more and more common, so having the ability to cleanse allies or resist debuffs in general is really essential now. Do keep in mind though, there is a cap on how many times Sacrifice Life will be able to dispel debuffs when it's active, which is a cap of 6 times. Don't worry though, you can re-trigger Sacrifice Life with her skill, and when you do the skill, you'll be able to reset the cap. So you'll be able to dispel debuffs very often. Plus, just using her skill will also dispel a debuff and heal adjacent allies, so you'll get a bunch of heals. An important thing though to keep in mind is that Sacrifice Life lasts for 2 turns. So a typical rotation will look something like this when you play her, which is skill, basic, and this will make her skill point neutral. As for another cool bonus Huohuo has, she's able to scare away her foes with her technique, and this technique is very similar to Jingliu's technique, as Huohuo's Horror-Struck debuff is inflicted onto enemies every wave that happens, and it'll lower the enemy attack by 25% for 2 turns, which is nice for taking less damage at the start of each wave. Her traces are also able to increase her resistance to crowd control debuffs, which is great since she'll be able to continuously heal the team with ease and also, of course, dispel those nasty debuffs from them. She also gains 1 energy each time her talent triggers, which can help her get additional energy towards her ultimate, allows Sacrifice Life to last for 1 turn at the beginning of a fight. Overall though, traces and her stat traces help out with her utility and definitely make her a very strong healer. In terms of playing her though, she may seem a little wonky at first, but after my testings, I do enjoy the rotation I mentioned earlier, as it keeps the team pretty healthy and also is relatively consistent from my testings. She does take a while to get her ultimate though, as she does have a very high energy cost, so you should expect to get her ultimate within roughly 4 turns, but I did notice you can occasionally get it in 3 turns, but she would have to get hit a few times and also, of course, gain back that energy from her trace. So I'd personally say you should definitely have the expectation of relatively getting it within 4 turns. I would recommend using, of course, her ultimate when your characters do not have their ultimates ready, so you do not waste the energy portion that she's able to give to characters. I personally like having my Huohuo go last in comparison to all my characters so that all my other characters can get the healing and dispelling of the debuffs. I'll get into what speed I personally recommend later on when we talk about her builds, but for teams, she's honestly great on practically any team. She works very good with Zila, Kafka, Sushang, and much more. I personally loved playing Huohuo with Kafka teams and especially Jingliu teams. When it comes to Kafka teams, I liked using Huohuo's ultimate when Sampu and Silverwolf would be near their ultimates, and use them both together afterwards, and let Kafka go to town on the enemies, and the attack benefits from Huohuo's ultimate also helps with the damage over time potential of the team, so this is definitely one of my favorite teams to play with Huohuo. My other favorite team that I got to mess around with is definitely the Jingliu team. I've mentioned Jingliu and Huohuo before and how it'll make a very cool energy party, and with Jingliu, honestly guys, this is incredibly good. Jingliu is able to get her ultimate more with this combo, which means she stays in her Mara-struck form longer. And this definitely helps you dish out a bunch of damage with her, and it's just really strong. And in all honesty, it does help to get rid of an issue Jingliu may have had, which is she can't stay in her state beyond a certain amount of turns due to energy, speed tuning, whatever it may be. But the Jingliu and Huohuo combination makes it easier for Jingliu to stay in her form longer, and it's absolutely one of my favorite teams. Another character I loved playing Huohuo with is Sushang, since Sushang could take advantage of the energy and attack by quite a lot, and summon her Phoenix even more. Same can of course be said about Zila. Definitely fun teams. Overall though, when it comes to team building and just making teams with Huohuo in general, she is very universal in what teams to place her on, and this definitely makes her a very valuable support because of the harmony and healer-like aspects she has. So when it comes to teams, highly recommend her for your sustain.
You, the new one.
Now though, when it comes to building her, I'll go over this real quick so you have a gist of how to build your Huohuo. My top recommendations are 4-piece Passerby of Wandering Cloud. This is good for more outgoing healing and also an additional skill point at the start of battle, which is nice for having a little more leeway with skill point usage. I also like 2-piece Passerby with 2-piece Messenger to give Huohuo more speed, or 2-piece Passerby and 2-piece Long Vias for more HP. It's up to you, but the relics are mainly the supportive ones that increase her healing potential. As for planars, I'd recommend primarily Fleet of the Ageless for more health for herself and attack to support the team. Broken Keel is great for more crit damage for the team, plus she gets effect resistance substats, which means it'll be pretty easy to get her that 30% resistance for the team crit damage bonus. As for stats, here's what I recommend. You'll want Energy Regeneration Robe because you'll 100% want that energy to make sure she gets her ultimate as often as possible. For a body piece, you can go with HP or Outgoing Healing for, of course, more healing and health overall, HP Orb, and Speed or HP Boots. I'd recommend 120 to 134 speed for Huohuo, so I personally prefer speed boots. As for light cones, I recommend either her signature light cone for the energy regeneration, attack bonuses, and of course additional effects. Bailu's light cone is also a great 5-star option, but if you are free to play or you want to save your jades, I highly recommend this new event light cone, Hey Over Here. This light cone is very good on Huohuo, and when I played Huohuo with this light cone, the results were amazing. Really good heals, her ultimate would still come roughly in those 4 turns, and this option allows Huohuo to be pretty free to play friendly. So I highly recommend this light cone, especially since everyone can get it right now. Perfect timing can also be a great option for more effect resistance and also getting more outgoing healing for the effect resistance you do have. You can use other options of course, but I thought I'd recommend my top recommendations.
You, the new one.
Now that we've gone over the essentials of Huohuo, the teams I like, and all of that jazz, it's time to discuss her pros and cons, and ultimately her value. Think of this as the before you pull segment of the review. The benefits of Huohuo is super good heals, being able to fully control who you heal with her skill, the energy and attack from her ultimate. Huohuo is definitely amazing for our Kafka and Jingliu mains, especially since I feel like she synergizes very well with damage over time-centric teams. Her being able to extend Jingliu's Mara struck form can definitely be game-changing for Jingliu, as her potential has increased even more. Now for cons, she definitely does take a while to get her ultimate, and she is a more skill point neutral character rather than a character like Luocha, who is primarily skill point positive. So you may be missing out on some skill points that other characters can use. And the main other con is that if you already have a good amount of sustains, you may not need Huohuo unless of course you like how her kit sounds and what I've showed you guys in this video. When it comes to Luocha and Huohuo, I know a lot of people have been discussing the topic. Does she power creep him completely? I personally would not say so. I still think Luocha has amazing value, and Huohuo is just another alternative, and it ultimately just comes down to what team you're using, because I feel like she's really good, Luocha's really good, and honestly, I would just go with whichever sustain you like the most, and whichever one you prioritize the most depending on what you value from their kits. But overall, here is my rating of Huohuo when it comes to her heals, team value, her sustainability as in solo sustaining, and the overall rating. Before we wrap everything up though, I thought I'd give my thoughts on E1 versus Light Cone. I personally think E1 is more valuable as you can use the new event Light Cone on her, and E1 can allow Huohuo to be better with skill points since her sacrifice life will last longer. Plus, you'll be able to get a speed buff when sacrifice life is active, which can be pretty good for building a bit less speed on your characters and having more offensive substats instead. That'll be all though for my review and guide on Huohuo. Let me know if you guys have any questions on our favorite ghost hunter. Before you guys go though, make sure to subscribe for more character reviews and guides to know what I think about them. Leave a like to support the video, and lastly, I hope you all have a great one like always. Peace.